Hello there, and welcome to Citizen Journalism School Essentials. My name is Lee Stranahan. I am the founder of Citizen Journalism School. And first off, let me thank you for being part of this program. I designed Citizen Journalism School Essentials for you because I'm assuming you're kind of like me. Are you a person who's looked at the world of news, who's looked at the media, knew you were being lied to, and basically looked at the world and said, well, I think I can do better than that? That's why you're here. And what we're going to show you in Citizen Journalism School Essentials is the building blocks of journalism for a citizen journalist, for somebody not who's, if you want to write a book, great. If you want to make a movie, do a complex podcast series, that's great, but that's not what we're showing you in this course. What we're showing you in this course is how to write tightly focused stories, 500 words or less, how to do a simple but effective podcast, how to do simple and very useful videos. That's the sort of things, and how to research all of those. Now, the reason we're doing that is every one of those building blocks, the 500-word story, for instance, that is actually very saleable on its own. There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, if you don't want to write a book, that's fine too. But what I'm saying is you got to learn to walk before you can run, right? So this course is about getting you up on your feet, and especially the research part and all the stuff in this first module, Journalism 101, is going to be the foundation that you're going to build those other things on. So I've been a teacher. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a teacher for a long time, and I used to teach computer graphics and video production. And I did that for thousands of people around the world. I did tours. And then I got into journalism over a decade ago. And I knew I wanted to teach because my friend and mentor, Andrew Breitbart, who I worked with, and I'll tell you the whole story later, but when he left in 2012, when he passed away, he was passionate like I was about citizen journalism. And he got a lot of people interested in it. But what I saw was people didn't know what they were doing. And so to me, the ideal of journalism, citizen journalism, getting started and doing something on your own the way you can now, it doesn't mean anything if you're just as bad as the mainstream media, but, you're using cheaper cameras, right? There's no benefit to that, right? This is about learning to do journalism the right way, the ethical way, to tell the truth, to do it the way it should be done. That's why I assume you're here, and if you are, great. Now, let me mention one thing, because I have taught a lot. You're an adult, I know that, and you have other obligations, family, work, hobbies, so on. I get all that. That means as an adult, I am not there, I can't monitor you. Even if I could, I wouldn't. You're an adult. You can take this class at your own pace. But for the reasons I just said, this Journalism 101 part, very important, and so is the research part. I know you may be itching to jump around. You may go, okay, I just want to learn to write. I can't stop you, but do me a favor. Watch the first two modules first, then go on. Again, I can't stop you. Now, here's one other thing, because I'm not monitoring you. At some points during these lessons, I'm going to make suggestions. Like I'm going to say to you, write this down. Now, I'm not there. You don't have to write it down. You could do that thing that people do where, you're on the phone with somebody and you don't really want to talk to them. You just kind of write in the air and pretend you're writing. Don't do that. And the reason I'm saying don't do that is if I ask you to write something down, it's because there's power in writing things down. They've done studies. If you write down a goal, you are much more likely to actually follow that goal than if you just think about it. The power of writing something down has been proven. Now, again, I don't care whether you use pen and paper or type it into a document, however you want to do it, but write it down, write it down. Last point I want to make on that, and it's the name of this lesson, is the power of starting, because I'm not going to keep you long right now. I want to get you into this stuff, but I want to give you one more little pep talk part here. You've already taken the first step. You have started. And I'm one of those people who throughout my career, no matter what I was doing, whether I was working in TV and film or working in journalism, I'm one of those people who believes, and I've seen it for myself, that sometimes if you leap, the net will appear. In other words, you cannot worry. There's another saying I like a lot, you've heard it before, which is the perfect is the enemy of the good. Okay, I agree with that. That means don't focus on being such a perfectionist that you don't actually do something. And I'll tell you, one of the things I'm going to include here is a video lesson that I didn't create. It's something Ira Glass, who is the producer of This American Life, a radio show that I like a lot. I don't like some of his politics, but that's a very well-produced show. He talks about, and what he's talking about here is that when you start doing something, watch it for yourself, but I'm going to give you the highlight here. When you start doing something like journalism or music or acting or anything you do, athletics, you do it because you're interested in it. But, so you're interested in it, so you like, let's say you like music. So you know what good music sounds like because you're a music fan. Now you start to do it and you're not very good. And that's a problem because you know, because you love music, that you're not very good. So what he says in there, and the reason it is a great talk and inspired me years ago when I saw it, but I'd already been kind of living with this philosophy, which is you need to keep going and keep doing bad work, knowing that it's bad, because that's the only way to make it better. Now, again, if it's actually bad, then don't do it. But if it's not living up to your high standards, that's okay. And that's why this course is about essentials. It's why it's about getting something right. I'll tell you one other phrase I like quite a bit, which is, what's the definition of perfection? I'm going to give you two definitions here. I'm going to tell you the one that is more practical. Perfection is not when you can add something. I'll explain that in a second. It's when you can't take anything away. In other words, perfection can be simple, right? A sentence can be perfect, but that does not mean it's complex. The dog was angry is a perfect sentence, right? There's no problems there. You know, angry dog was that's a scramble, right? So that's not working there. I'm not saying it's a great sentence. It could be a better sentence. Right now it's sort of Hemingway, right? But the point is, that's perfect. There's no problems. You can't take anything away from it. You can always add stuff. Now, I cook too. I don't know if you cook. But if you cook and you're decorating a cake or you're painting, you can always add more strokes. At a certain point, you got to go, you know what? We're done here. And that's why we're focusing on short pieces throughout this course. Make it perfect, but that doesn't mean you couldn't make it better. I know. You got to stop at some point. So there's a few ground rules. Now let's start to talk about some of the history of journalism. And you're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to keep it pretty brisk, but you got to understand the past if you want to understand the present and you want to understand your future. Once again, I want to thank you so much for being part of this program. I'm really excited about it, and I cannot wait to see your work. Until the next lesson, my name is Lee Stranahan from Citizen Journalism School.